Greetings metalheads and welcome to No Nonsense Metal Reviews. I'm George and I'm back today with a new-ish release review. New-ish because I'm a little bit late to the party on this one, owing to a couple of factors. One being that the physical copies, multiple, that I pre-ordered of this stunning new album did not arrive for what seemed like ages after, months after. I'm not even sure how many weeks it was in total, but I thought I was being clever by securing that good deal that it was on pre-order. But unfortunately it didn't come for ages. Didn't come at the time of release. It was many weeks after. And then, owing to the brilliance of the album and the intricacy and depth of this particular release, it also took me a few weeks to really thoroughly absorb and digest what I was listening to. So for that reason, it's taken me a little while, but we're finally here reviewing album number 14 from Greek black metal, just metal legends, the mighty Rotting Christ with Pro Xristou. Wow is all I can say about this. What an album. If you've been following the channel, then you've probably realised, and you're probably sick of me talking about, the fact that I absolutely love Rotting Christ. Rotting Christ, over the last couple of years, for me, have become an absolute essential listen, an absolute favourite. They are now securely within my top 5 all-time favourite bands. I adore this band. Absolutely love them. And I had no reservations about the fact that Pro Xristou was going to be something exceptional. I just doubted that it was going to be anything less than brilliant. And it has not failed to deliver. Rotting Christ are back again, album number 14. And they're on exceptional form. This is a fantastic album. So this glorious piece is the first pressing on black vinyl. If I just show you the little sticker there on the front of the nice outer sleeve. And this is a really high quality package. Really nice. It's almost, because of the glorious artwork that we've got here, the sleeve, which is a gatefold, has a kind of, almost looks like a canvas. I suppose it's meant to be that it is like a painting. But we've got the gold foil embossed outer sleeve there. Gatefold, as I say. Well, look at this. Wow. Just wow. This is one of the nicest vinyl packages I have come across in a long time. And I'll just show this package off in its full glory. So we've got a massive insert here, which leads us nicely onto Rotting Christ in 2024. So we've got Kostas Heliotis on bass. We've got Sarkis Tolles, the kind of the main man, if you like, guitars and vocals. Then we've got his brother Themis Tolles on drums. And then we've got Kostis Fokarakis. I'm probably massacring the pronunciation of their name, so I do apologise. But there's the guys. There's the lineup. Here is the enormous booklet, which is comprised of lyrics and yet more artwork. So as you can see here, very cool. So I had the pleasure of actually seeing Rotting Christ live last year, and this band, so good. On stage, on record, absolutely amazing. So the thing about Pro Xristou is that I had high expectations, owing to the fact that certainly the last 4 albums, if we go back through Heretics, through Rituals, Kataton, and Theogonia, absolutely exceptional albums. Top freaking notch albums. I just cannot get my head around how excellent those albums are. The pure depth, the emotion, the power of those albums. Freaking love it. Absolutely love it. So because of that, because of the brilliance of those albums, I had very high hopes of Pro Xristou. And it has not failed to live up to expectations, certainly not. What we've got here is Rotting Christ, with their very unique sound and style. There is no doubt about that whatsoever. Rotting Christ sounds so incredibly unique. There is no other band that sounds like Rotting Christ. Of course, there are other Greek black metal bands and Greek metal bands that do have that kind of same Hellenic resonance, which is to be expected. That said, no one sounds like Rotting Christ. And Rotting Christ here, after 35 years of evil existence, sound incredible. Absolutely brilliant. This album is incredibly well-rounded. It's a really well-produced album. It sounds immaculate. And the thing is that there is no kind of replication with Rotting Christ. Although they have their own sound, each album does sound different in its own way. Whereas Ritual sounded like black magic spells being and incantations being chanted, and then Heretics sounded almost like it had I don't want to say like a religious kind of tone to it, but there was choir and chanting and things like that going on there. This album sounds very different in the respect that it is almost reaching back to the more Gothic kind of era of Rotting Christ. There's a lot of melodicism here. There's a lot of Gothic, melodic elements here that, you know, reach right back to the Triarchy of the Lost Lovers, Sleep of the Angels, maybe sort of Kronos as well. That Rotting Christ are going back and forth, moving forward. No two albums for Rotting Christ sound exactly the same, although this definitely sounds like Rotting Christ, if that makes sense. So, who actually produced this album then? That is the question. Because in terms of sound quality, sounds amazing. So, it is mixed by Jens Bogren, mastered by Tony Lidgren, produced by Sarkis Tolles, all music and lyrics by Sarkis Tolles. Yeah, keeping it very Rotting Christ here. The sound of the album is fantastic. It's great sound quality. Absolutely fantastic. Cannot fault it one little bit. There's no kind of dodgy, thin drums. There's no sort of weedy guitar work. Weak vocals. None of that whatsoever. So we kick off the album with an intro, Pro Xristou, which is a very melodic, very heavy riffing, chanting kind of intro that really kind of builds the atmosphere, really sets the scene before we get the first track proper, The Apostate. Glorious. That is absolutely angelic stuff. That is freaking amazing. Very melodic, very heavy, with those kind of signature Rotting Christ crushing riffs, really weighty stuff, just hammering in there, but then just giving way into this elation, this ecclesiastical state. It's amazing. It's absolutely spot on. It's exactly what you want from Rotting Christ. They take you somewhere entirely heavenly. Amazing. Killer way to kick off the album. Sounds really, really fresh and just amazing, basically. On fine form there. Then we've got Like Father, Like Son, which was one of the singles. I believe it was the first single, actually. Hugely melodic. So catchy and memorable. You know, there's hooks galore in this whole album. Choruses that you can really get into and you can chant along to. And Like Father, Like Son almost has that kind of melodic... Definitely, it's heavy. But it's not heavy and pummeling in a kind of death metal sense. But, you know, it's got weight to it. Absolutely fantastic. Really catchy, memorable track, that one. Beautiful guitar work. Absolutely fantastic guitar work. And Sarkis' vocals, still so strong. And he's got a very unique vocal style. He's got power in his vocals, but he also has a lot of character. Definitely. Then we've got The Sixth Day, which is a great track. That's a very Rotting Christ track. kind of brings to mind the kind of heretics kind of material. Then we get La Lettera del Diavolo, which has some lovely female vocals there, very powerful stuff. There's a melancholic kind of nature to some of these tracks, really powerful, just encapsulating, really good stuff. The Farewell, deep, dark, Rotting Christ, a little bit more black metal. You know, I'd say that the black metal in this album is very much a component rather than the kind of dominating style. It is more kind of gothic, melodic metal than just all-out black metal. You know, don't expect too much in the way of frosty, icy, immortal style riffs, because you're just not going to get that here. What you get is more of a melodic approach. But the Farewell is absolutely brilliant. I think it's Pax Lex Dux. I can't pronounce it properly, and also it's not in English there, so trying to remember. But really powerful. The choruses are immense here. Really strong stuff. Very, very deep. The melodies and the guitar work, certainly in those guitar leads, absolutely fantastic. Pretty World, Pretty Dies, absolutely stunning track. Talk about catchy and just glorious stuff. Really uplifting, but emotive and emotional and powerful. Incredible stuff. Then we get another couple of tracks that are, I'd say they're probably some of the heaviest material on the albums. We get Yggdrasil, which is of course about the tree of wisdom in Norse mythology rather. Wow, that is easily the heaviest track on the album. Riffs, barrage style, absolutely crushing stuff. It's just chugfest, and that the way that the song kicks off, it's that whole intro just lurches forward, and the whole thing fantastic. Lyrically it's brilliant, the kind of context absolutely amazing. I freaking love it. It's about 6 minutes long as well. It's a pretty glorious one. And then we've got Seors. I'm not quite sure on the pronunciation of that. I think it's Irish, based on, and I'm guessing from the lyrical themes, as it's about the kind of the last pagan high king of Ireland in whichever century it was, standing against the crusade of Christianity. Fantastic. I mean, that's a heavy subject. It's actually giving me goosebumps just thinking about it. It's a heavy subject, but Rotting Christ, the way that they've taken that thematics, the way that they've taken that story, that concept, and they have made it into a melodic, powerful black metal masterpiece, is testament to the brilliance of this fine Greek band. Absolutely amazing. Glorious. So that's actually the track that closes out the standard album. If you do get the bonus edition, which is a nice digipack here, and we'll get onto the rest of it in a moment, but this does have some bonus tracks. We've got Primal Resurrection and All for One, both of which are good tracks. Certainly All for One is really powerful and uplifting, very heavy, and Primal Resurrection is another good track as well. Definitely, you know, just as good as the rest of the album material, in my opinion. But I have to say, this album is actually a really deep album. So where you might be able to pick up an album, chuck it on while you're in the car, while you're pottering around in the garden or doing your cleaning or whatever. I don't know what people do these days, but this isn't one of those albums. This is one of those albums where it does require attention, and whether you like it or not, it takes you somewhere. You are encapsulated in this deep, melodic, melancholic, but also just, it's amazing. It's almost like you're in a completely different state when you listen to this album. It takes you into a different state of being, and it's freaking amazing. When music is that powerful that it can really make you feel like you just need to give it your full concentration, that's testament to those artists. Overall, it's a heavy album, but like I say, very melodic. I wouldn't say that if you were approaching this album with open ears, then definitely you're in for a treat. But if you're just expecting frosty riffs, or even the kind of material that we were getting with the debut, Thy Mighty Contract, or some of the more industrial leaning or aggressive material like Diabolos, then no, you're not, or Genesis, I should say, you're not going to get that. You're not going to get that here. What you get is far grander. Grand. That is the word I'm trying to think of. This is a very grand sounding album. Absolutely spectacular. So this other version, I've got the vinyl, obviously. We get then the special edition CD, which is a clamshell box. Lovely, with a digipack. We then get a little tin here, a little pot, which contains a couple of picks. So we've got Sarkis pick there, Pro Xristou, Rotting Christ, and then we've got 35 Years of Evil Existence. Very nice. But then we have something that's actually a little bit of a disappointment. So this is actually an incense stick holder that's meant to have an engraving of the Rotting Christ logo on it, but I'm sorry, I know this is not Rotting Christ's fault, but that does not look like Rotting Christ's logo very much. I'm a little bit disappointed with that. It just kind of looks like it's cracked and worn a little bit, but you know, I didn't buy this for the incense burner. I bought it because it's a lovely digipack. It's a lovely package to have, but yeah, I don't think that's quite worked out as well as maybe it was intended to. But hey, I suppose it's interesting. I probably will never use it because, yeah, I've got other burners, I suppose. But yes, so there's lots of different versions of the album. There's a sort of a standard digi. There's also a cassette, which I've seen on some websites as well. And then there's the vinyl in various different color schemes. But check this freaking album out. It is amazing. More than lives up to the previous, certainly the previous 4 albums, which have been exceptionally strong. Tracks that you need to check out just because of the sheer majesty and brilliance. The Apostate, I'd say Pretty World, Pretty Dies, and Yggdrasil. I'm deliberately just trying to pick 3 tracks there that aren't necessarily the singles, but I think actually Yggdrasil might be one of the singles now. Can't remember. Start to finish, this is a glorious album. If this isn't my top album of 2024, then I'd be very, very, very surprised, because it certainly is sitting at the top spot right now for me. So, Rotting Christ with Pro Xristou, an amazing, amazing album. You know, I do feel like words are falling short here to actually really describe how freaking amazing this album is. It's hard to put into words how good this album sounds, but I did my best. But what are your thoughts and opinions on Rotting Christ? What are your thoughts on Pro Xristou? If you haven't heard it, I implore you to check it out. It is freaking brilliant. Check it out. Let me know what your thoughts are on this one. All hail the mighty Rotting Christ. Freaking brilliant. Absolute kings. Thank you very much for watching, my friends. Do feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment. It's all very much appreciated. Check back soon for more reviews, recommendations of all the good heavy things. Until next time, take care of yourselves and stay heavy.